Here is the Estes Fabrics Shop Hop 2024 block. In your kit, you have a big enough piece of fabric that you should be able to kind of take your pick of which pieces here you want to fussy cut. You've got enough pieces that even if you kind of make a little mess up, you should be able to have enough to kind of redo something. So we've got the clouds, the plaid, the toile, and the salmon for the border, plus salmon for the centerpiece. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these all down real quick to what the instructions say. Center square, this is going to be cut to 2 by 2. The half rectangle triangles, the cloud fabric, you have 2 pieces of because that's in all of them. We're going to cut those to 3 by 4. Plaid is going to be cut to 3 by 4. And the tossed words, I misspoke, this isn't the 12. The tossed words is also going to be cut to 3 by 4. So your half rectangle triangles are going to be out of these pieces here. All right, I have cut my pieces out. So I've got my my corner pieces fussy cut. Oh goodness, so sorry. So I've got 4 of those cut to 3 by 3. I've got my center square, tiny bitty baby, cut to 2 by 2. I've got my 2 cloud pieces cut to 3 by 4, a tossed words cut to 3 by 4, and a plaid cut to 3 by 4. The first thing we're going to do, get this out of the way, is the pain in the neck, half rectangle triangle. So half square triangle, of course, we do this, right, and you draw down the center. That's not going to give you half rectangle. It's going to look kind of funky. So what you do is, okay, my clouds are face up. I'm going to lay this, of course, right sides together, and you're going to offset it. Opposite corner to opposite corner, okay? It's going to look about like that, not like that. I'm always trying to do it like that, right? My brain just does not want to do it. They're fiddly little pieces. It might make it easier if you starch your fabric a little bit, do some like Mary Ellen's Best Press or something like that. Anyways, I've got those opposite corners together. Then you're going to do your draw a line down the center, and you're going to sew a 1/4 inch on each side of those. So from this point, it is quite similar to doing a half square triangle. I'm drawing my line. And yes, I'm just using a pencil. I'm going to pin that so it doesn't move. I've drawn a line, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch from this side of the line and a 1/4 inch from the center line on this side. I've used black thread so you can see what I've done. So here's my line down the center. My stitches on the right side, a 1/4 inch. My stitches on the left side, a 1/4 inch away from that edge. Now I'm going to trim it. And there you have your half square rectangle. My little dog ears will need to be trimmed. I'm going to go give it a press. It's pressed. And now I'm going to trim off my dog ears. And I always line up my little pieces on as many straight edges as I can to make sure that if I'm wonky on anything, I just straighten it out. There we go. All right, let's do the next one. All right, I've got these 2. Let's set those aside and do the other ones. Okay, again with the cloud piece, face up on my mat, my plaid, see, it always takes me a couple times of placing it to wrap my head around because I really want to do it like a half square triangle, but that just won't work. Get my little points. Come on. Okay. I'm getting my points to line up. They're very fiddly because they're just little pieces. And again, I'm gonna draw, oopsies, my line down the center. pin, because I know that's going to shift on me on my way to the sewing machine. Okay, then again, there's my line, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch on the right side and a 1/4 inch on the left side. Okay, let's look at it again. There's my line down the center. There's my stitches, a 1/4 inch on the right from that line, a 1/4 inch on the left from that line. Now let's trim it up. And we've got our plaid and cloud set of half square rectangles. Okay, let's iron or press it carefully because it's on the bias and trim our dog ears. Okay, it's pressed. They're both pressed. Now you can press your seams open. I press it to the side because I kind of like the little height difference, the ever so slight textural difference I get when I press to one side. So I'm going to trim off those dog ears. Whoop, wrong way. You need that. Okay, there's one. And there's our second one. All right, next thing that we're gonna do, now that we've got these pressed, is we trim them to 2 inches by 3 inches. So let's trim. Of course, they're a little trickier than trimming half square triangles because I can't really use the lines on my mat or the angles in the same way because then I'm at an angle. So I just center my rectangle in middle of 2 inches on my mat, trim one side, flip it around, flip it around, and I'm gonna trim the other side. Okay, I'm going to trim all 4 of them. I've got all my rectangle pieces cut to 2 inches. Now I need to cut down the 4-inch side to 3 inches because it's just a little bit big. Okay, let's do that again. So I've got my half, let me scooch that over. Okay. I've got my rectangle, my half rectangle triangle piece here centered in the 3 inches on my cut mat. Trim a little off that side, flip it around, so there they are, 2 by 3. Now let's do the cloud and plaid pieces. Oops. If you find that your little pieces are moving on the mat too much before you cut, you can get a little piece of washi tape or something and tape an edge or two just to keep the dang thing from moving. Oops. Not super even on that one. Nope, that one needs to go too. Okay. 2, 3. Okay. I'm gonna be lazy. I don't usually do that because I can't hold the ruler very well and it always shifts on me. But okay, got them all. These little guys trimmed to 2 by 3. Here, let's go back up a little. Okay, now we're gonna assemble it. I've got my center square, and I'm gonna lay this out just to make sure. That's how I want those to go. These go in the corners. So there's the center of our block. I'm gonna sew this square to this half rectangle triangle, half triangle rectangle to this. Then I'm gonna sew this piece to this piece to this piece, and then do the same thing here, here to that. And then we're gonna sew this row to this row to this row. Okay, there's my first row. Now I'm gonna go this half rectangle triangle to the center square, this piece to this other side. Okay, there's my second section. And I'm gonna repeat the process for the third section here. Third section. Now I'm gonna sew this to the center. And I want to try to get this lined up as much as possible. So I always pull this back a little bit and peek and see if I'm lined up. I'm going to put a pin right where my seams are. Oof, it's a little dull. To make sure there's no shifting. All right, now I'm going to sew there. There's the top section. Now I'm just going to put the bottom section on. All right, and there is our center. And now all we have to do is add our border. Now, this was cut wider than you need. You can trim it down first and then put the border on, or put the border on and then do all of your trimming. I'm going to, let's see, how much bigger did I cut it? Oh, quite a bit bigger. You know what? I'm going to put it on first and then trim it because I don't want to work with fiddly little 1-inch strips. I don't know about you, but great. I'm just going to sew it there, trim it down. Okay, do the same thing with the next side. Okay, we're just going to sew 1/4 inch there. It's coming together. Rather than waiting to the end to trim the borders, you really should trim them as you go, because look, I was a little bit short, but that's all going to get trimmed off anyways, so that doesn't really matter. All right, I'm going to go press and do the final trim. So I'm trimming my block now down to 8.5 inches, and my little fishy border is 1.25 inches. I trimmed this side too small. And there we go. There we have it. And there we have it. So it is 8.5 by 8.5. I trimmed this side too small. I trimmed this to 1 inch, and it should be 1.25. So I had to make this side a little bit bigger. A little trimming to get it down to that exact size, but it totally works. There you go.